I've competed at 2 Olympic trials. In 2016, I got 8th in the 5K, and then in 2021, I raced the 3,000 meter steeplechase and again placed 8th. But only the top 3 make the Olympics. 9 months ago, I decided I wanted to take another shot at my Olympic dream. Since then, I've dedicated myself fully to this goal, running some of the hardest workouts of my life, going to altitude, and of course, racing. So far this season, I've run 9:37 and qualified to the Olympic trials, ran a 9:32 season best, and then got a personal best 9:24 and win at my most recent race. But tonight, I get to go for that Olympic team. We're in Eugene, just finished my pre-race shakeout run. I'm gonna do like drill strides, some mobility stuff, but yeah, it's crazy. We're here, it's feeling very real at this point, but just kind of trying to soak it in, appreciate the moment, and like think back on all the work I did to get here and everything. Obviously, internally, I'm shitting myself, but you know, that's not what we're gonna focus on. Have strides now. I'm going to do the first 3 in trainers and the last 2 in spikes to get some time in spikes, but not too much, just a little bit of the snap, you know?
Snippity snappity.
I have to like make a noise when I snap so that with my mouth
Ooh,
so that it seems like I can actually snap when in fact I'm incapable. Want to explain your role in the cooking?
I cut all the shit up. Oh, sorry.
That looks great, Dad.
Look what I got now.
Carrots for Georgie.
Ooh.
He's a lucky puppy.
He's gonna like me by the time we're done with this trip.
Nice. 2 more reasons for Georgie to like you.
Oh, good. Go get him.
Alright, race morning, about 10 hours till the race, so you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to shake out, I'm going to slurp some coffee, I'm going to have a nice little time, I'm going to sit with the nervousness and just exist.
I'll take a refill, please.
At the Olympic trials, there are 2 rounds of the steeplechase. So there's the prelim first, where if you place well enough or run fast enough, you make it to the final. And then, of course, there's the final that is raced for the Olympic spots. Now, this is the prelim. I was in heat 2, and the top 5 in each heat, as well as the next 4 fastest times, advanced to the final. So in the first heat, I knew that the 6th place runner had run a 9:33. So I wanted to run at least that, but obviously was going for one of those top 5 automatic qualifying spots. But unfortunately, this heat actually went a lot slower than the first heat. So the first heat was through the first couple Ks in like 3:08 to 3:10, and we were through the first K in 3:16, and our next one was a 3:12. So as you can see here, it's a pretty tightly bunched race. There are about 10 to 11 people still in it, even though we're pretty far into the race at this point. Being so bunched up, I knew that it would probably accelerate later in the race, and finish pretty fast, but I was still a little bit nervous about how slow we were going, knowing that it would make it really hard to run that qualifying time of 9:33 from the first heat. So I was really trying to stay in touch with the front and keep one of those top 5 spots because I wasn't sure if 6th would be good enough to go to the final, and I really wanted the chance to run in that final, and I felt like it would just be such a bummer for my season to end in the prelim. Prelims are really stressful for that reason because obviously there's something to gain, like you can gain the chance to run in the final, but that's kind of already in your head as like what you should do, and so it feels like you just have a lot to lose in a prelim, which makes it a high stakes situation. And as you can see here, a big move was just made, and unfortunately I was kind of on the outside of that water jump and missed the front of this move. So now I'm trying to reconnect to that pack, and I'm actually in 6th place right now, which means that I would not get an automatic spot. And behind me is Chrissy Gear, who's the defending national champion and is known for her closing speed. So right now, sitting in 6th, knowing I need to pass someone and also cannot get passed by Chrissy Gear, who's behind me, I was incredibly stressed right now. I was thinking I have to move up, but this front group was moving really fast. We're actually closing faster than I ever have before in a steeplechase, so I'm trying to catch up to this group while also already going at a very high speed. It was a tough spot to be in, but I was trying to stay mentally clear and just remind myself that giving my all in this race was all that I could do, and no matter if I passed someone, if I got past, whatever the situation, to just end this race with no regrets. And so going into this last lap, I moved into the 5th place spot, and then I started trying to really push on this last lap to hopefully catch up to 4th, and if not, at least maintain 5th, because that was the last auto qualifying spot. Going into this home straight, Gabby Jennings had a commanding lead, and then there was a pack of 3, and then there was me just behind them, and behind me closing fast was Chrissy Gear and Kaylee DeLay. So I really was going to my arms to try to hold on to this spot, and I was not confident in getting it until the exact moment I crossed that line. And when I did, I was so happy because I got an auto queue to the final, and I also ran a 9:29 and closed in a 3 flat K. So I felt like that was a really good effort for me out there, even though it was in my head a little bit that I had only been 5th in my heat. I tried to take it for what it was, which was a spot in the final, and no matter how I had done in the prelim, the final was another day, another shot to see how well I could do. So I was excited. There were 2 days between the prelim and the final, so I tried to recover as much as possible. Just relaxed, spent time with family, had some good food. My sister Taylor flew into town. Hello! And just leaned into the experience and tried to enjoy it, even though I was obviously nervous for the final coming up.
Done.
Of course, I was preparing for the race by doing some runs, strides, drills, hurdles, all that stuff. I've also been making sure to hydrate because the temperatures here in Eugene are kind of high, and I want to make sure that I'm optimally hydrated for the final coming up. I have been really enjoying these Element seltzers. They are absolutely delicious. I drink them every day. They have the same scientifically based formulation of electrolytes with 1,000 milligrams of sodium, 200 milligrams of potassium, and 60 milligrams of magnesium, but they're just slightly sparkling and so delicious. I have been so well hydrated, you would not believe. And I also, of course, use their drink mix. It's something that I constantly rely on for my training and recovery. So if you'd like to try Element, you can get a free sample pack with any order. Just go to drinkelement.com/Allie or go to the link in my description. And as always, stay salty, my friends. It's Olympic trials finals morning. I can't believe it, but I'm just going with the flow, doing my same routine that I do every race day and trying to soak it all in, appreciate the moment, and also just believe. My mom outfitted the house with believe signs and made me a Pokemon card that says believe. So feeling very loved, supported, and excited for this opportunity. I didn't vlog much on the day of the final for a couple reasons. One, because the routine is exactly the same as what I showed on the day of the prelim, but also because I was so nervous. The Olympic trials is just such a high stress situation. It's difficult to even put it into words how it makes me feel, but I was debilitatingly nervous and just struggling to exist leading up to this race. So I apologize for the lack of vlog footage. The Olympic trials final is here. This is the moment that I have been training for the last 9 months, and I've documented all of it. I've shown you the process. It has been grueling, but so fulfilling and amazing. And going into this race, I really wanted to put myself in it. My goal was to get near the front and to try to stay on the rail, which is the far inside lane, for the whole race. As you can see here, the race plan is not going well as I went straight to the back. Well, that was not purposeful. It's just this race went out really fast and aggressive, and I really wanted to prioritize staying on the inside lane because I knew if I wanted to get one of those top 3 spots, I needed to run as little distance as possible. But unfortunately, trying to stay to the inside also caused me to be towards the back of the pack, which makes it really, really hard for me to go over the barriers. Due to having quite a bit of time off the steeplechase, I just do not feel strong jumping over barriers unless I have a clear sight of them. And when you're in the back like this, it's really tough to tell where they are. I mean, you can kind of see through the pack a bit of an accordion effect whenever we go over a barrier, that there starts to be a little bit more space between people, and that's because it's just hard to jump well when you don't have sight. So anyways, I was on the back here and I was getting a little bit stressed and in my head about where I was at. I knew it wasn't where I wanted to be, but I was debating whether I should go wide or not and was just kind of catastrophizing the situation. And then I had this really bad water jump, and at this point I was in last place and was feeling kind of defeated about the whole thing, but I mentally checked myself and said, you just got to keep going. You got to fight for every spot, see what you can do. You never know what might happen, especially in a steeplechase. So I was off the back of the front, but I was in this small chase group of 3, and I was just trying to make the most of this race, even though it was not at all going the way I hoped it would, and it looked like my chances of that Olympic team were very, very slim. They always had been, but I had hoped that I would be more in this lead pack later into the race. However, I was making the most of it. Like, yes, I'm disappointed that I wasn't there and that my race plan did not pan out and that I had a few moments of hesitation that really cost me a spot in this pack, but it is what it is. I did the most I could, and I was slowly moving up from behind this pack. You can't see me right now, but I had actually passed 2 people and moved into 10th place and was starting to catch up to some of the people that were falling off of this front pack. So I was doing everything I could to stay mentally engaged in the race and continue chasing after not only every spot, but also every second, because this was an incredibly fast race, the fastest steeplechase in US Championship history. And so even though I was in 10th place, I was still running at a PR pace. So I wanted to keep going with that and try to make sure that I could at least get my best time ever out of this race, even if I didn't have the race that I dreamed of or the race that I truly believed I was capable of. I didn't really want to bring this up before the race or talk about it very much, but I actually tested positive for COVID 2 weeks before the day of this race. And so I was unsure of how I would feel. I had a bit of sickness and it was a setback that I definitely didn't want, and it's just one of those things that's unfortunate, but you can only control so many variables. Yeah, it was just a bummer, but it was still cool to be a part of this race. It's historic. I mean, you see Val Constian at the front right now. She's running a trials record, faster than anyone in the history of the US has run at this race. And then behind her right now in second, but she'll eventually finish third, is Marissa Howard, who went to Boise State and is someone that I know personally. So to see her finish third and earn that Olympic spot is amazing, and it shows that the dream is possible. And I didn't get it this time, but I'm still proud of how I raced. I finished 7th. I got a PR of 9:21, and I actually have the 20th fastest time in the world right now. So it's nothing to be too disappointed about, even though it wasn't the fairy tale ending I dreamed of. You know me, I'm not about to only show the successes in my life. I'm going to show the times that I fail, the times that I fall short. This was one of those. I said I wanted to become an Olympian. I did not, but I still put everything I had into it. I stepped to the line and I gave my best effort on that day. So I'm proud of my race. And I'm proud of this entire build-up and this series. I hope that you've enjoyed it and that it gave you a little taste of what it takes to be at this level. I was not even close to becoming an Olympian, and I still dedicated my life to it. So it's really impressive when people are able to have that dream day and make it happen. Something that I still hope to do one day. Thank you to everyone for following along during this Olympic trials build up and race. I appreciate you all so much, and I just feel so loved. But now the question is, what's next? And that's all for now, folks.